Hello, hello, hello. It has taken me a bit to get back in, finding all of my pieces and my parts, getting stuff together to get these finished up. I did pull my sewing machine out. You can see I did stitching all around. So I did one round of zigzag stitch and then did 2 rounds of ziggy-zaggy straight stitch. You can see them crisscrossing, not straight in any way, shape, form, or fashion. This one is red on the inside, so I used red thread. This one's blue on the inside, so I used dark blue thread. So we're going to put the corners on and then sew in the signatures. And I'll find some strings to bind them with. Excuse me. Now I do have some silver corner protectors, but I can't find them. What else is new, right? So putting these on is kind of tricky when you don't have the correct tools. But I start first by using the strongest glue that I own, which is my Fabri-Tac / Fabrifix. And I just kind of put it down there in the little valleys. Just did a double take, make sure that my microphone was actually on. Don't want to make that mistake twice. And just so I can put my glue away, I'm going to go ahead and do all 4. I'm like, cool, my screen disappeared. I'm going to glue all 4 of them on before I squish them down. I said, and that's just so that I can put my glue away because I won't need it for the rest of the project. If you've never used these book protector or corner protectors, they have these little bumps on the inside. I don't know if you can see them, like right here. Those, once you squish this down, those are meant to like grip the inside of the page or the inside of the book cover. You don't have to glue them, but I err on the side of caution because obviously I'm not doing wooden book covers. You know, these are fabric and cloth, so you know I can't hammer them in like you would to a wooden or a hardcover book. Oops, get that string out of the way. Now here's where I'm talking about not having the right tools. You don't want something pokey because you don't want to ruin your corner. So I use my little flat-handled little tweezers here, my little tweezers. And I just go in, use the flat side of it just to give it a squish. And I'm giving it a little snuggy wuggy, making sure that it's grabbing on there. Ooh, yeah, see, I don't know if you noticed that. That one let's tried to pop itself off. Now this one I'm going in reverse because it got smashed in shipping. So it was not wanting to go in the same order. There is a tool that you can buy to do this. Some people are strong enough. If you've got strong enough hands, you could, squeeze them with your hands. I don't have that strength in my hands anymore to be able to do that. And I don't see any point in spending money on a special tool when this works just as good. It works just fine. And that Fabri-Tac, once it's dry, it'll adhere to the paper itself and really kind of secure that corner on there. Oops, just squirted some glue out. Right. Now, unfortunately, today is all about what's the word I'm looking for? Not innovation. Necessity is the mother of invention, right? I can't find my awl. I can't find either of my awls that go with my little puncher thingy bob. So I'm going to use my very pointy, sharp little tweezers for that one. So this is the papers that I picked for the red. And that's mostly because I don't have any red paper right now. I do have pink, but I didn't really like the way the pink looked. Now this is where bulldog clips really come in handy. The big ones would be better. But I only have one. That I can find. Anybody that's watched my channel enough is probably getting used to hearing, I can't find it. That I could find. If I could find it. It seems to be the running theme. In fact, I don't know if these little ones are going to be. I only have one big one that I can find. I mean, I don't have a ton of them to begin with. But more than one would be stellar. Because these little ones, they're fitting, but very, very, very close to not. See, that one's not holding at all. So what I'm trying to do is get the papers in here into that center binding as tightly as I can. I wonder if that blue one's any bigger. I don't think so. I think these little ones are all the same size. Yeah. Blue one is the same size. So this is just going to have to do, and we're going to keep our fingers crossed. So again, this little cradle, it's been a while since you guys have seen it. It's a little V shape. So the book fits in the center there. This little guy with all the holes in it. Let's see, we are at 30. What's half of 36 would be 18. Let's see if this is going to work. I don't know if it's going to fit. And then we're going to go let's go 4 here. And 4 up here. Let's see if it went all the way through. And it did not. So that hurts. I don't know if you saw what just happened, but I just slid my piece all the way out and onto the floor. Ugh. Okay. Okay, so I just used my little Cricut. I'm like over here at my computer. Use my little Cricut tool here to poke the holes through. And I have embroidery floss, blue for the blue, red for the red. You're going to go 3 times the height of your journal. So 1, 2, 3. And I usually go a little bit more just to give myself some wiggle room. I mean, I'd rather have too much than not enough. 3-hole pamphlet. Go through the center. Making sure you're leaving that string in the center. I tend to hold onto it with my thumb as best I can. You're going to go back in through hole number 1. Whether that's top or bottom is up to you. You're going to end up in the same spot regardless of which order you go in. Okay. You're going to go all the way down to the bottom hole through your signature. And through that bottom hole on your cover. Give it a slight tug, not super tight. And again, you're wanting to make sure that this center, you don't lose track of that center string. So you don't want to pull it super tight just yet. Now you're going to go back through this middle hole your starter, where you started. And go on the opposite side. So you have your center string, and then you have, as Pam at the Paper Outpost calls them, your wings. One to the left and one to the right of your center string. Give it a little tug. Don't go too much because you don't want to tear your holes. But you want to make sure that your signatures are in there, good and tight. You don't want them to wiggle around too much. Go right over left. Left over right. Doing a basic square knot. And then I do one more for good measure. Now, I like to leave these strings long. Several things that you can do. There's all kinds of different options. But if you cut them short, there's nothing left. You limit yourself. So you could just take them and, simply tie them. Tie it in a bow. Simply, yep. Because I'm so good at simply, right? Okay, poor bow, but you tie it in a bow. You could put little charms on the ends of each of these. You could put them together and put a single charm at the center, just so that it sits, it'll hang like right here inside the journal when you close it. Or just leave them long. Some people even like that, just having strings hanging out the bottom. So there's one. Well, chunky monkey. This is a pretty plain journal. There is no there's no pockets or anything except for these brown ones right here. And I'm going to turn them into pockets right now by sealing up the edge. Wait for my glue to get down there. Should have done this before I sewed it in, but didn't think about it. So you end up with a pocket right here. And sealing this side up. It's been a while since I've talked about these brown pages. These are from Chewy, the dog food company or the pet company. Inside their packaging, it comes and it's perforated on this end, and I fold it in half, and then I just tear one half of it down to make this front pocket, and to give it some strength and some zhuzh on the edge. I actually lined it with well, in this case, they're lined with pages from a pattern book like McCall's or Simplicity or something of that nature. Got a little bit of glue hanging out right here. That does happen, and there is apparently some special little like eraser thingy that you can buy that, you know, kind of rubs glue off, which maybe at some point I'll like find it. Where's my center? So again, finding the center here. Centering it in the journal. Giving that center a good squish, since I only have one large binder clip right now. Okay, and I'm going to eyeball center. This is a little more challenging because it's going through that felt that I did for the cover. Smoosh. I don't want to break another Cricut tool. Doing journal crafting. I've already broken one. Really sad thing is I wasn't even journal crafting. I was cleaning glue off my table. So again, blue. 1, 2, 3 times the height. And this one's got a lot extra because I was pulling it straight from a skein. That got knotted. Get this needle threaded here. Okay. So again, go through the center from the end, and depending on where, if you want it to knot on the outside, on the outside of the journal, you would start from the outside, go in and do the exact same thing. And then this would be your center, and then you'd have your wing go this way and this way, off to the left and off to the right, and then you would tie your knot here on the outside. I don't particularly like my knot being on the outside. That's not to say other people don't or can't. It's entirely, you know, journaler's choice, maker's choice. Funny looking at this, I can see, you know, how much trouble I was having with my sewing machine by the time I got to this one. I don't know what the heck happened. Just all of a sudden it like went super stupid and decided it wanted to just be a naughty pain in my butt and tangle up and make me scream and yell and punch air, and really made me want to punch my sewing machine, to be totally honest with you. It really kind of ticked me off. And I ended up having to completely, so again, going back through that center, I ended up having to completely pull out my bobbin, rethread my bobbin, rethread my needle, everything, just to get it to like start working normally again. I don't know what its malfunction was. But for whatever reason, it just decided it didn't feel like working. It didn't like the blue thread, apparently. Kind of like my needle right now is not liking. what's going on right now. What is going on? So I'm just kind of was going back through, trying to figure out what the holdup was, what was hanging up, and unfortunately, what that caused me to do was what's called splitting the thread. So as I went back through, because this is 6 strands of embroidery floss, I ended up going up back through the original one. So it made it so that I could only tighten it in one direction. So hopefully, and again, a third one just for good measure. Trim off this one little strand. Throw those over there in the garbage. All right, so we have the red. Let's see, trying to get it fully in view here. So here's the red, and I just have some paper that I dyed with, tried to dye with black ink. Pocket here. This was blue paper, I believe, started out. No, I think it started out gray. So I got some blue. Oh yeah, there's the original color right there. So it started out kind of a grayish, a light gray color. Blue picked up some of the rust from the pan. Again, this is the gray with the black. I dried it on a cookie sheet that had holes in the bottom. So it's got these little dots, almost look like bubble wrap. You'll see it a little better. You can see it a little bit better here, but definitely on some of the other pages, it comes out a lot better. This is blue, and it's got some pink bleed through from the lace that I laid down that I dyed with the pink before. So there was still some of that pink dye on the lace. So when I dyed with the blue, the pink bled through. And you can see the outline of the lace, sort of. Goes like this, and then and then up. I think you can see it better in the blue one, though. A little bit of more dots. Here's another piece of that lace. You can see some of that patterning coming through. Oh, there you go. You can see the pink, that pink lace. Now, this paper, this was the ink that turned my hands blue. It was not water soluble. So it kind of, it turned the water blue, but it also created this like slick on the top. So the paper started out white, but it ended up with these blotches of dark pigment from the ink that was sitting on top, while it also dyed the paper. So it was really cool. I mean, next time I'll use gloves because it took a while for my fingers to not be blue. And then here's the other sides of those. Again, you can see some of that pink lace. There's those. Some more of that lace coming, shining through. The other side of that pocket. And there's the last of that, the back of that one. A little bit of, see, even though I sealed this, there's still spots where the glue just is not sticking. Like somewhere, see, there's still that. I got that ink everywhere. I tell you, it is still everywhere. Oh, see, there's another spot. I'm hearing noises behind me, but my dogs are outside. I'm wondering if my cat is sneaking around out there. So again, here's some more of that paper. You can see this was after several pulls, so it was getting more into the blue water versus the blue ink. This was a different blue dye. These were top pages just to kind of keep the air from hitting it and discoloring too much. Another page of that with the pink from the lace coming through. I don't know how well the screen's going to pick up. There's a grid pattern. A little bit, you can see it hit a little bit here too. That's from a cookie sheet that I have. Oh, see, this is not tight. I love that. Love the texture of that. Okay, so that's what happens when you split your threads. Unfortunately, is this right here. I thought it was tight, but it really wasn't. So my only solution here is going to be to take it apart and rethread it, because there's no way for me to tighten these. So I'll do that off camera. You guys don't need to watch me do a 3-hole pamphlet stitch a second time. But yeah, I love the texture it gives. That particular pan. So it's just the flip side, the other side of these. And there you go. Snip. And snip. You see how easy they come back apart. I'll just do it. I'll just fix it. Maybe, if I can find the end of my floss. This was the problem I was having, is that it created a knot because apparently I pulled from the wrong end. There it is. I'm like, and now I can't find. See, I was just going to knot up on me again, but that's okay. This is cheap embroidery floss. It's what I've purchased for the sole point of putting together journals. It's like when I buy fabric or embroidery floss in bulk, like I'll buy it off of Marketplace. I have no control over what's in there. Sometimes it's DMC and sometimes it's not. And as far as my cross stitch stuff goes, I only like to use DMC floss. Unless I've purchased a kit, which I try not to do because the quality is not ever as good. But I've done it, you know, and I still have kits that I'm working on that I still have to finish. Like even the one I started on camera, I've still got to finish. So there we go. That worked a lot better. This time I'm going to give a tug, make sure things are tight in there. That was what I didn't do last time, was I didn't check it. Right over left, left over right. One more for good measure. Now I do prefer the 5-hole pamphlet to the 3-hole. But for the sake of the video, I just kind of wanted to do a 3-hole just to be able to get them done so I can get them filed away and off my desk. So they will go up onto my storage shelves. Let's see what kind of fabric I can find for strings. Red? Oh, I do have a red. Let's see if that's going to be enough. So I bought a rug, a cotton rug off of Amazon. And when I pulled it apart, I ended up with all these little strips of various lengths, widths. And I've I have a whole drawer of them. All kinds of different colors. It was kind of like a chindi rug, if you look that up. But chindi rugs are usually made with silk, sari silk, more specifically. But I have not had any luck finding those. So I went with this, and it they're cotton, little cotton strips, which works for me. I'm cool with that. And this is just kind of a general, just a quick little tie. The little strings everywhere from when I pulled it apart still. Let's put a little bit more there. Now, a little trick about tying bows that I learned, I can't remember which creator, what, Gail maybe, is to get your bows so that your tails are both pointing down. You always go up and over the other bow. So that when you pull them tight, your loops are on top and your tails are down below. Oop! I was totally off camera for that. Sorry, guys. Let me try that again. So you make your loop, and rather than going this way like most of us do, see, because then it splits, and then you've got a bow going in each direction and a tail going in each direction. If you go over the top and then through, I lost my hole. Where is it? There it is. I'm like, where'd my loop go? You can pull your bow tight. Straighten out your tails, but you end up with both your loops on top and both your tails on the bottom. Fluff those out. All right. So those are done, and I'm going to go file them over there on my shelf and get back to ta-da. How about if I put this one on the right way? I'm like, wait a minute, I think that's upside down. It was upside down. Get back to my commissioned piece. I just wanted to get these ones finished so I can get them off of my desk. There we go. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in and watching the finale of this and watching how I finished them out. So I will talk to you guys later and have yourselves a good day. Bye.